Okay, let me paint a picture for you. It's a foggy morning on the St. Johns River in Palatka, Florida. You can smell the river mud and the pine in the air, and through that fog, a lone cyclist, our hawk, starts a journey on what just looks like a simple paved path. But this is no ordinary bike ride.
See, this journey isn't just about racking up the miles or getting some exercise. It's about peeling back the layers of history that are literally paved into the ground right under his wheels. It's about exploring a story that connects a river to a coast.
You see, the Palatka St. Augustine State Trail follows the exact path of an old railroad, what you might call a ghost line. And this line, well, it was once the lifeblood of this entire region.
And think about that transformation for a second. What used to be this noisy industrial corridor of iron rails and steam engines, carrying farmers, workers, and all their dreams, is now this quiet, peaceful path for bikes. Its whole purpose has flipped from commerce to connection, from industry to just remembering. So let's start this journey just like Hawk did. We're going to explore the towns this old railroad built, kept alive, and, in some ways, kind of left behind.
First stop, Palatka. It's kind of hard to imagine now, but you gotta picture this place as a total boom town back in the day. A huge river port, just teeming with steamboats, timber money, and rich tourists. The source material puts it perfectly. It's like a well-worn photograph now. You can see the glory, even if it's a little faded.
And as Hawk pedals away from the river, the whole vibe changes. He gets into these lowlands. Man, you can almost see those old wooden trestles stretching over the wetlands. And just maybe, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the whistle of a locomotive cutting through that thick morning fog. So, what was that train carrying? Well, a major stop on this line was a town called Hastings, and it had a very specific claim to fame. For years, this place was the undisputed potato capital of Florida. They were all about the spuds. And this is where the trail really feels alive. Riding past these fields, Hawk can almost feel the energy of harvest time. I mean, this source paints such a vivid picture, right? The sounds of men calling out, laughter, the scrape of tools. This wasn't just farming. This was the engine that fed a huge chunk of the East Coast, all of it loaded onto the very railway this trail now follows. Okay, so as the trail keeps heading east, the story gets a little quieter. It's less about big business and more about community. And that brings us to a small but incredibly significant place called Armstrong. The history here is just wow. Armstrong was founded right after the Civil War by formerly enslaved families. They literally built a community and a legacy from the ground up. It was a place of real self-determination and resilience. The source says it's a place where history doesn't shout at you, it just stands firm.
And then there's this one moment that says it all. As Hawk rides through, he just shares this quiet nod with a local man resting under a tree. No words. But in that one simple gesture, there's this deep, unspoken understanding of the place, of its history. It's powerful.
So as Hawk pedals that final stretch towards the coast, the whole point of the journey starts to click into place. It's not really about the individual towns, but about the invisible lines connecting them. He passes through another little spot, Elkton, another farming community. And like the others, it was never going to be a major city, but it was vital. For the people who lived here, that railroad wasn't just convenient, it was their lifeline. It was their connection to the entire world.
And this brings Hawk, and all of us really, to the big question. When you're on this quiet, peaceful trail today, who was here before? Who traveled this exact same corridor 100 years ago?
The answer? Pretty much everyone. You had the rail workers laying all this track by hand. You had farmers loading their crops before the sun came up. You had whole families riding these trains to start new lives. This entire path is just soaked in their stories.
And that's the big aha moment of the whole trip. The trail might look empty and quiet now, but it's not. It's absolutely full. It's brimming with the echoes and the spirits of every single person who came before.
So think about where we've been. We started at the faded but proud riverbanks of Palatka, rode through the hard-working potato fields of Hastings, felt the deep-rooted strength of Armstrong, and saw the quiet persistence of Elkton. Every single stop has its own story, its own ghost. Yeah, the iron rails have been pulled up. The steam engines went silent a long, long time ago. The physical railroad, it's gone. But its story, its spirit, oh, that's still very much alive, carried on by the land and by anyone who travels this path today. And that really leaves you with something to chew on, doesn't it? A journey like this, it's not just about getting from point A to point B.
It's about understanding the very ground beneath your feet. It's realizing the past is never really gone, it just changes shape. And sometimes, by traveling along its path, you get a much clearer picture of exactly where you are, right here, right now.